Alright, this is the Utility Shed Project Part 2, and we're going to, once you open Revit, you should be able to just open your green utility shed. Should be there on your page. The first thing we're going to do is modify our wall types. We made this wall exterior wall of brick, but we want to change the other three types of walls now. And the way we're going to do that is we're actually going to copy this brick wall and change some of the properties of it. So the first thing you want to do is click Edit Type, and then you want to duplicate that wall. And we're going to give it the name, we're going to name it Shed Wall with Siding. So change the name to Shed Wall with Siding. And click OK. Mine's going to say that it already exists because I've already done this. So I'll call it Shed Wall with Siding 2. Or you can just call it Shed Wall with Siding. And then what you're going to do is modify some of the layers of this wall. So here under Structure, click Edit. And we want to change this brick common material to siding. So we're going to click on this brick material, and there's three little dots here. Click on those three dots, and it's going to bring up some material. Now we want this material to be wood siding, but that is not an option here. So what we're going to do is just go up here and select wood. And once you've selected wood, then plywood sheathing comes up. So you want to select the plywood sheathing. And then we're going to click Create and duplicate that material. So we're going to duplicate that selected material. And we're going to change the name of that to Siding Horizontal Wood. So if you click the Identity tab, you can change this to Siding Horizontal Wood. Okay. Then click the Graphics tab, and again that one's already in use, so I'm going to change it to Siding Horizontal Wood 2. And then click the Graphics tab, and under the Graphics tab we want to change the surface pattern right here. So click Pattern and change that to Horizontal, and then click OK. Now in the Appearance tab, you want to change the appearance as well. So we want to open the asset browser, which is right here, and then all of these different materials come up, and we're going to expand this appearance folder and look at siding. And under siding, we're going to select wood, horizontal cedar, so this one. And if you see that there's two arrows here beside of it, so click those two arrows and it updates over here. So we have changed that to horizontal cedar, and then we'll click OK in the material. So be sure that this has changed to horizontal wood. And so that has changed. Now we want to change the thickness. Its brick is 3 5/8 inches thick, but we only want our siding to be a 1/2 inch thick. So leave it as 0 feet. Change this to 1.5 inches, or not 1.5, but just 1/2 of an inch. Okay, and then this 3-inch air gap is not necessary. It is necessary on brick, but it's not necessary on wood. So if you just click this number 2 over here, and then down here hit delete, And you can, again, you can change any layer. Like we could, if you weren't going to use plywood sheathing, you could do something else. If you were going to use wood studs instead of metal studs, you could change all of that. Notice that the interior is gypsum wallboard, that is drywall, so you could change that even if you wanted to. Okay, but that's all we're going to change for ourselves, so just click OK, and then click OK again. So now that unfortunately changed the wall that we changed a minute ago, but we're going to just put this back to the brick on metal stud, and then we're going to change our other 3 walls. So I'm going to click that wall, click and hold my control key down and click all 3 walls, and I'm going to change those 3 walls to this shed wall with siding. Now I've got 2 of them because I had made one before. You should only have 1, so I'm going to do it as shed wall with siding. It's not going to let me do those together, so I guess I'll have to do them all just one at a time. So do shed wall with siding on all of those. Alright, now that you have your 3 other walls changed, if you want to click the 3D view and see how that's going to look, and you can kind of spin around here, and you can see that there's wood on the outside of those 3 walls. You can look at the shaded view as well, and then I was in realistic view. Okay. Next we want to place some windows and doors, so we're going to go back to the floor plan, and first we're going to place a door. Now if this single panel door does not come up, what you can do is click Load Family, and then you want to go to Doors and just choose the single panel door, and it's going to load all of these different size doors in, and just click OK. And then we want to choose the one that's 34 by 80 inches. If that one's not the first one that comes up, if you just click the drop down box, it will give you different options. But mine came up as 34 by 80 inches. So once you've chosen that, then you want to click on this wall. Now notice that, as I move the wall, I haven't clicked yet, but it's changing my dimensions, and I want this right in the center. So that's right in the center because it's 5 foot 8 1/8 inches on both sides. So I'm going to click there, and it puts the door in for me. And I want my door to swing inside. I could, put it where it swings outside, but I want it to swing to the inside of the room. And now we're going to place some windows. So again, I'm going to hit Architecture and Window. You can choose any window you want. I'm going to choose the 36 by 24. And again, I'm going to make them 4 foot from the middle, and I want them to be 4 foot on both sides. Again, you can put them wherever you want to, but I kind of like mine to be symmetrical, so totally up to you. You can replace as many or as little windows as you want to. And then the next thing that we're going to do is, right now, if you notice, our floor does not come out all the way to the edge anymore. So we're going to change that. So I'm going to click the floor and click Edit Boundary up here. And I'm going to use what's called the Align tool, and it's right here. So I'm going to click that Align tool, and notice that my floor is in pink. And whatever I want to align the floor to, I need to click it first. So I want to align this part of the floor to the outside wall. So I'm going to click the outside wall, and then click the floor, and it automatically goes out there. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Click the outside wall, the floor, and it aligns. Outside wall, floor, outside wall, and floor. And then I'll just click the green check mark, and that will make my floor go all the way to the outside of the wall. This is particularly important if you're doing something that's kind of on the ground level. Next we want to create our drawing, and this is actually what you're going to be submitting as your drawing. So if you scroll down in your project browser, you'll notice something called Sheets. Right click on Sheets and click New Sheet. Now probably this B11 by 17 does not come up for you, so if it doesn't, click Load and scroll down until you find Title Blocks. Open the folder that says Title Blocks and click on B11 by 17 and click Open. And then it should show up. So click on the B11 by 17 and click OK. And there's the title block that we're going to be using. Now, once we have clicked the title block, we can change, and yours probably didn't come up, but to change any of this stuff, I can just click on it and put my name there, put what the project is there. Here again, I'm also gonna, just click that and put green utility shed there. And I can even change the project to CEA1, change the date. The author would be me. And checked by, you can put me as the checker or just a fellow student. I'll just put facilitator there. Okay, so you can change any of these things here. And so now what we want to do is place different things on this sheet. And we want to first place our three-dimensional view. So what we want to do is come to this 3D view, and we want to show one of the sides that's brick and one of the sides that's siding. So just make sure that your 3D view has that. And you always want to look at the crop region. So if I click down here, this crop box that has like a little light bulb, if you click that on there, it will show you the crop region. So I don't want it too wide because then I've got a lot of blank space on my sheet. So I'm just going to change that crop region to make it smaller. And then if I go back to my sheet in my project browser, so I'll click the plus sign, click my sheet, and scroll up, and this time instead of clicking or double clicking 3D view, just drag 3D view over there and then place it in the top right hand corner. And there's the three-dimensional view that you put on there. Now one thing you can do if you double click 3D view, if you don't want to show this crop box, you can I think you can turn that off. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. There it is. Just click the light bulb again. I think if I go back to my sheet, it will have taken that off. Yeah, so it's not there anymore. The next view that we want to put on there is the floor plan. So go up again to your floor plan, double click, and again you always want to check the crop box. So click the crop box, and notice you can't even see it. But if you scroll out, the crop box is there. It's just way far out there. So I want to bring that way in so that I don't have all this white space on my sheet. So I'm going to bring that way in. Make sure your scale is 1/4 of an inch equals a foot. If it's not, just click and you can change that to 1/4 of an inch equals a foot. I'm going to zoom in here. I might be able to make my crop box even smaller. And again, I don't want to really show that crop box. I just show it so that I can change it, and then I'll hide it. Then go back to your sheet and drag your floor plan in. So there's my floor plan. Then the next thing that we want to do is do the elevations. So I want to choose a side elevation and also a front or back elevation. In this case I want a front elevation since the door is there. So again, I've got my crop box on. I want to drag that in. Now notice that these lines come out, so I actually want to move those lines in first. So I just drag those, click the dotted line, and just drag at the top, and it'll move them in. And then I'm going to change my crop box to come in as well. I do want those lines on there to show that it's 8 foot to the to the bottom of the roof. So that's my west elevation, so I'm going to drag it into my sheet. So drag that in. There's my west elevation, and I'm going to do maybe the south elevation as well. So I'll show the crop box, and I'll drag those lines in, and also drag my crop box in, and then I'll drag my south elevation into my sheet. So drag my south elevation in, and unlike Inventor, this is not necessary for you to necessarily line these up. I'm going to line them up top to bottom, but they don't have to be lined up. I do think in my elevation views I put the scale at 1/8 inch equals 0 because it was too big to get on my sheet. So once you have that finished, then you can save this. And you can then print your sheet as a PDF. So if you just click there and click print, change your printer to be PDF. And if you don't have that, let me know and I'll try to figure that out. And then we want to do selected views or sheets and click select. Hit cancel. Let me go to my sheet and then hit print. Now let's try to print it now. And then selected views or sheets, and then hit. Let me click preview. This really did work earlier. Normally when you hit select, I'm not sure why mine's not doing it right now, but normally when you hit select, you'll be able to do you'll be able to select just the sheet. You don't want to print all the views. And so then just name it Green Utility Shed, underscore in your initials, and click save. And I'm going to replace mine. Go out there and see if mine really came, is what I meant to print, and it is. So that's good. So that's what you're going to submit on Echo, is this this sheet.